And of course, it's still Politics HQ on News Central Television, and we are looking at the matter, of course, that happened today, on the floor of the Senate, and has, of course, been a follow-up to issues as regards sexual harassment allegation by Senator Natasha Akpoti against the Senate President Godswill Akpabio. Well, I have joining me right now Mary Ikoku, the founding president of Emerge Women Development Initiative. She joins virtually from Abuja. I also have Ndi Kato, the former spokesperson for the Labour Party Presidential Campaign Council. She joins from Maryland in the U.S. Ladies, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let me start off with you, Ndi Kato. Just a while ago, we had the chairman of the Senate Committee on Ethics and Public Petition, in person of Senator Neda Imasuen, just a moment back, speaking on this matter. As a woman, I would like your reaction.
I find what he did quite insulting. His statements, he downplayed and deliberately downplayed the issue going on with Natasha. When you brought up the matter of the sexual harassment, he says, oh, it is his opinion that such a thing did not happen. It is not subject to his opinion. If a woman was sexually harassed, she was sexually harassed. Women are subject to sexual harassment irrespective of the positions they are in, and this is what is playing out here with Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. And she has come out to speak against it. She has come out to say, look, my reactions to certain things is from the knowledge that I am being treated this way because I refuse sexual advancement, because of sexual harassment. This is why I'm being treated this way. And they're all downplaying it, and it's very sad. To have the senator come here and paint Natasha as if she's some irresponsible person. People have made mistakes and submitted petitions in ways that they're not supposed to submit in the Senate, and they get corrected and they resubmit. So to try to lean on technicalities as to why they are suspending her for 6 months, taking away her privileges, taking away security details from her, walking her out of the Senate like that, despite everything that we are watching, is just terrible. And I'm quite disappointed in the senator. Senator Neda was elected on the platform of Labour Party, a party that had people from all walks of life, Nigerians, support in spaces where they know that typically they didn't stand a chance, but because of Nigerian support, they managed to enter in there. And then you go in and you side with injustice. I think that is completely unbecoming, and a lot of these senators need to watch their seats, because these are not signs that people will support you the second time. Natasha has come out, Senator Natasha has come out to say, look, I have been harassed by this person. I expect that a proper investigation should be carried out. I expect that the Senate should follow due caution, due process to investigate this. Unfortunately, they are rushing through it and showing through their statements, through their actions, that they are all ganging up against this lady. And it's quite unfair. The other day, somebody said, oh, the Senate is not the place for young people, and it's an elderly place. Women cannot be sexually harassed in the Senate. All of these statements are very irresponsible. And it goes to show, look, if in this position a woman can be sexually harassed and go through all this and be shut down in this manner, what else for Nigerian women? This is beyond politics. This goes to show a woman can get to the highest position and will still be subject to this, and will still have her voice shut down, and will still not be listened to, and still not believed. It is quite sad.
I would like your reaction quickly before we go on break on this too. Mary, I also believe that you saw that interview. What's your take on the response of the senator on the matter?
I think I saw not just in this interview. I think I also saw him yesterday at the plenary, because I've gone to the plenary to observe the plenary. Even today, I was there, the media at the gallery. So I've watched, even from yesterday, it was obvious to me that there seem to be like a lot of things have.
Mary, are you there?
Decisions have been taken, and but for me, I'm thinking this is March. And can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead. Okay,
I'm saying I listened to his interview, and I've also seen him physically yesterday at the plenary, where I went to observe the plenary, and today as well. So I'm not surprised, but
I think we have a bit of connectivity issues there with Mary Ikoku, the founder and president of Emerge Women Development Initiative. But we'll go on a quick break. Once we return, we will definitely pick up, from where we stopped. Do stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. It's still Politics HQ on News Central Television. And of course, we are discussing the issue, what some have termed the, of course, face-off between Senator Natasha Akpoti and the Senate President, that's Godswill Akpabio, over sexual harassment allegations. Well, I still have Mary Ikoku, the founder and president of Emerge Women Development Initiative, joining virtually from Abuja. She's, of course, with us at the moment. And I also would bring up at some point, she had joined initially, but once we connect, we'll bring in Ndi Kato, the former spokesperson for the Labour Party Presidential Campaign Council. Okay, I understand she's also there. But let me continue with you, Mary. We lost you for a moment. You were trying to establish a point when we lost you, but I would like you to also add this to your response. Looking at it from a broader perspective, the handling of the Senate on this matter, what it reflects on gender participation, particularly women in politics in Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Today, the 6th of March, 2025, is a day in our history that it is Women's History Month, March. And I don't know, for some reason, the country has continued to during March, because if you recall, when we had the 9th Assembly deny Nigerian women the 5 gender bills, was also in March, in the month of March. So it does appear as if it is always, they always choose the month, this month that is Women's Month, to really deal big blows on women. And my point really is, this would definitely bring a remarkable, it's very significant in a very demeaning way for the progress that women have made in Nigeria when, as it regards gender equality, the women movement, and the progress of women. It seems this is kind of a retrogression, because if you ask, they're just 4 women in the Senate and quite a handful in the House. So the 10th Assembly, it would be expected that they would treat the women like they would treat them better and give them a better chance at that Senate. But what we witnessed today, to be honest, by yesterday, I think I'm not surprised by what I saw today, because as of yesterday, it was quite obvious to me the way the plenary went, that this was coming. But I'm also concerned about how it was so easy to sit in the evening, because I listened to the chairman of Ethics Committee, how it was so easy to have this whole meeting or hearing from 5 p.m. yesterday, and by today, this morning, the whole report and recommendation is ready and all the signatures done and dusted. But what I could see is that this woman, for daring, for her courage to voice what she felt has been a sexual harassment on her, she's been kind of tried to be silenced. But you see, even on that floor of the Senate, in that red chamber, I wasn't pretty much sure what it was she was asked to apologize for. Is she apologizing for her, for the so-called immature behavior on the floor, or talking to the leader of the Senate? What was she to apologize for? Because I recall that while there, she also asked for a moment to speak. I didn't think she got any kind of fair hearing there. This was my considered opinion, that while she was sitting there, she was not, in fact, she was totally ignored. And it breaks the heart to watch all that play out. It makes me feel that the agency, Nigerian women, or the women and girls of this nation, may be having a lot more work. It's a long walk to freedom for us, because you ask this question about what it portends for the gender equality or the progress the women and girls of Nigeria has made. But it is rather, will I say, unfortunate to watch that whole thing play out today. It's also even bigger misfortune not to see any woman on the floor of the House. Yes, an excuse was made for Senator Ireti Kingibe. She had joined an IWD meet event. But what about the other two ladies? We also didn't see them. So it makes me feel that, and then the opposition side, I didn't see most of them. So it looked like this Senate, the Senate, we didn't see those who are in the opposition parties. It became like the Senate was not having the kind of color you would expect. But whether it impugns on the progress we've made so far, it has. And also, it also shortens further the voice of women who may have this kind of challenges. So it reinforces that message that women, you are supposed to be seen and not be heard. Because pointing back, when I listened to him, he was pointing back to the fact that she was talking back at the leader, the Senate president. But I recall that, was it Tony Nwoye? There was a senator in that same floor that I pulled out that video where he was actually pointing a finger directly at the Senate president. And he's young. I can't remember the name of that senator. He's also equally young. So and he's from Anambra State, if he was a house for this so-called matured people, why did he not receive the same, why was this kind of action not meted out on him? So it makes me feel that gender is at play here. Honestly, because I struggle with this. I really, really struggle with it. It is really troubling.
All right, I'll leave you for a moment and bring in Ndi Kato. Of course, you said something. You said it appears she wasn't given a fair hearing. But just in the interview a while ago, the committee did say they invited her. She didn't show up, but instead sent a lawyer with, some sort of injunction, so to speak. My question to you also would be, do you think that she was that in any way given some sort of level playing field to her concerns, and what does this reflect, from a broader perspective for women in politics in Nigeria?
This was never going to be a fair hearing for Natasha. It was never going to be a fair hearing. It was a gang up, and it's good that she recognized this for what it was. Also, I cannot imagine that at this time, with the accusations against the Senate President Godswill Akpabio, he's still presiding over. He should not have been presiding over, and I don't think that she would have been comfortable walking into that situation where she has stated this and due process is not being followed. So I do support Natasha in her decisions. I do not think that is enough. Like I said, they have been skirting around the issue. Senator Imasuen skirted around the issues, called all of these are the reasons or why they did this or did that. And at the end of the day, the major issue on ground is that this person has been sexually harassed. Because she turned down sexual advances, she was meted to unfair treatment. And she reacted to that unfair treatment. After the reaction to that unfair treatment, these people ganged up against her. We saw it in their statements in the media. We saw it in their behavior. We saw it in everything. In fact, today on the floor of the Senate, some people were laughing and saying she's not coming back. Some of them were laughing and saying she's not coming back. Are these the people that Natasha should trust that they are going to sit on her matter and justice will be served? I do not think so. I think that she's been strong. She has followed this matter. She's been strong in speaking out on this issue, and she has been treated unfairly. I think that the Senate is looking for technicalities on which to deal with her, to gang up against her, and whatever it is they can latch on to say this is the reason, they will latch on to it. However, the main issue Natasha has spoken up against is her harassment, the harassment she's facing, and the fact that she's not able to serve her people as best as she can because her issue is being downplayed in the Senate by someone who has the power to misuse his office and is misusing his office as does. And she has spoken up about this. This issue is not what the senators are talking about. They are refusing to be forward about this issue. They are talking about other things. Oh, Senate is not a place for young people. Oh, we tried to talk to her. She did not listen. All of these things. This is not the issue. The issue on the ground is the Senate President abused his office. And because he abused his office, a fellow senator is affected by this. Now, when a fellow senator or a person is affected by something, you cannot dictate how they react. Sexual harassment is a serious issue. Sexual harassment is a serious issue and it affects the victim in many ways than one. So you cannot tell a victim, oh, you have to behave perfectly. If not, we are not going to listen to you. This person is wounded. This person is affected. You cannot say, oh, if you are not the perfect victim. And that is what keeps happening. We keep looking for the perfect victim. The person should have knelt down on the floor for us. The person should have behaved like this. If not, these accusations do not stand. If not, we're not going to listen to the person. And these are all just reasons to silence women, and it will not stand. Natasha has pushed her matter forward. You said she did not put it forward the correct way. She has resubmitted. There's also a case in court. I still believe that Senator Natasha deserves a fair hearing. And what is happening against her right now is a gang up by the senators. People siding with power. People siding with injustice. And it's very unfair and it's unbecoming, I'll say again, because look, the Senate does not, or the National Assembly does not have a high return rate. Many of these people are one-term senators, but they enter there and they tend to think that they will last there forever and tend to side with injustice at every given turn. And it is really, really disappointing to see senators in the opposition, people who should be standing for justice, to do this. It is very disappointing. And kudos to people who have lent their voices to this cause, to the men and women who have lent their voices to this cause, who have spoken for this and asked that justice should be served. I mean, in a difficult time as this, to have done this, to put themselves at risk, to put their positions at risk, and spoken for this, I really, really commend them. But still, more needs to be done. It is unbecoming. As Mary Ikoku said, this is Women's Month, and every Women's Month, we are faced with issues that take us back 100 years every time in Nigeria. This is Women's Month. Companies will come out to talk about women in leadership and all of that. And then when the women finally make it into positions of leadership and are treated this way, this is what Nigeria faces them with. It's unbecoming.
All right, ladies, I'd like to say thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure having this conversation. Hopefully, we'll definitely stay on this story and ensure that at the end of the day, justice is served. But it's been a privilege. Thank you so much. Mary Ikoku, founder and president, Emerge Women Development Initiative, joining virtually from Abuja, and also Ndi Kato, former spokesperson for the Labour Party Presidential Campaign Council, joining virtually from Maryland in the US. Thank you.